Shalom, y'all. Most High Christ bless. Happy Sabbath. So today's class is going to be entitled, You Talk Too Much or Not Enough. Sometimes we find ourselves saying a little bit too much that's on our mind. We end up being emotional. We end up being out of order. Or you don't talk enough and things end up messing up in the congregation, in the nation as a whole. And we're going to go through some examples of these communication issues that happen in the nation. First, give me Romans chapter 15, verse 4.
The book of Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope.
So the things that was written aforetime was written for us to learn from. All right. We look back in the scriptures to learn from what our forefathers and our foremothers did and do those actions, those righteous actions. Because if you do the wicked actions, you're going to get the same punishment that they got. If you do the righteous actions, you're going to get the same actions that they got. So it would be better for us to follow the righteous acts of our forefathers than to try to play it by ear, do what we think is right, and it end up being wrong, and we get judged for it. Go to 1 Samuel chapter 2. Start off with the not enough communication or not enough talking. And this is in the aspect of parents to children. You may have those people in the congregation that you really like, and you know that they're doing something wrong. You know that they wicked as hell. You know that they murmuring, they complaining, they're doing all kind of stuff. And what are you doing about it to correct them? 1 Samuel chapter 2, start at verse 12.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 12. Now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial.
Meaning they was the devil. Just because you in the truth, just because you know you Israel, don't mean you're righteous. Just because you up in this body don't mean that you good. Just because you come congregate on the Sabbath don't mean that you go into the kingdom. They was Israel. They knew they was Israel. They was sons of the priests. And they was the devil. Go ahead.
They knew not the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And the priest's custom with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest's servant came while the flesh was in seething, with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand.
So they would put the meat in a pot and they would have a flesh hook. Go ahead.
And he struck it into the pan or kettle or cauldron or pot. All that the flesh hook brought up, the priest took for himself.
So if the priest put the flesh hook in the cauldron and pulled up, if he pulled out a 16-inch sirloin, that was his. If he pulled out a 6-inch, 6 ounce, that was his. Whatever he pulled out, that's what he got. Go ahead.
So they did in Shiloh unto all the Israelites that came thither.
Go ahead.
Also before they burnt the fat, the priest's servant came and said to the man that sacrificed, give flesh to roast for the priest.
So they said, look, instead of dipping it in the pot, just give me the meat. Go ahead.
For he will not have sodden flesh of thee, but raw.
So we don't want it already cooked. The custom was, as long as it's cooking, they dip it in there, the flesh hook, they pull up whatever they got, that's theirs. He said, I don't want that one. I want the raw meat. Go ahead.
And if any man said unto him, let not fail to burn the fat presently, and then take as much as thy soul desireth.
Then the person would say, well, we got to cook the meat first. Like, let's burn the fat off the meat. Let's burn the meat first, cook it. And then whatever else you want from there, whatever you want, you can get. Go ahead.
Then he would answer him, nay, but thou shalt give it me now. And if not, I will take it by force.
He said, no, I want what I want right now. And if not, I'm going to take it from you. These are sons of the priests. These are sons of the leader. You understand? They were doing wicked, wicked things. Jump down to verse 22.
Verse 22. Now Eli was very old and heard all that his sons did unto all Israel.
So Eli heard about all of the judgments and all of the crimes, the sins of his sons. Go ahead.
And how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation,
committing much fornication. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, why do ye such things? For I hear of your evil dealings by all this people. Nay, my sons, for it is no good report that I hear. Ye make the Lord's people to transgress.
Now, that right there goes with a lot of brothers today, where you'll ask them, did you correct so-and-so? Yeah, I corrected him. What'd you say? You said what Eli said. Nay, it's not good that you should do that. You know, you're making the people sin. That's that soft stuff. Eli was not coming down with the hammer on his sons. Much like us today. I don't know why. I don't know what the holdup is. I don't know what the mental hang up is. But a lot of people just can't seem to correct each other. They seem as if they're scared to say something. And if I say something, then they're going to rebuttal. Yes, that's what wicked Israel do. They try to justify themselves. Gird up, put your forehead hard against their forehead and tell them what they're doing wrong. Or else they're going to think that what they're doing is okay and they're going to keep on doing it. Next thing you know, you got a whole people that's full of wickedness. What you think if Eli's sons wouldn't have got judged, what you think the people coming after them would have done? Well, Eli's sons did it, so I'm going to do it. Well, Eli's son smashed old girl, so I'm going to go ahead and smash her little sister. This is how men think. That's why in the world, every time you come up with a female, what you say? You got a friend? My homeboy want one. You got a friend? My homeboy, he looking for somebody too. And you going to serve up your friend for the lust of this man that you don't even know. And this is what we do in Israel. We do this in the body. You serve up your brothers and your sisters with the sins that they got going on, and you don't even say nothing about it. And when I say serve up, I mean you know that they're doing wrong. You don't correct them. And what is the wages of sin? Death. You putting them in a line of fire of judgment with God, all because you are too scared to correct them because of what they might say. That means you fearful. That means you scared of man. Keep on reading.
Verse 25. If one man sin against another, the judge shall judge him. But if a man sin against the Lord, who shall entreat for him? Notwithstanding, they hearken not unto the voice of their father, because the Lord would slay them.
So you could tell that it wasn't no real correction. He said, well, if you sin against man going to judge you. But if you sin against the Lord, who's going to entreat for you? No. Eli's sons was committing fornication. Now, let's see real quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy 22. Because maybe I'm tripping.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her, and lie with her, and they be found.
So, this was going on with Eli's sons. Found a damsel, and they didn't say whether they were married or not. It just said that they slept with the daughters of Israel in the gate. Go ahead.
Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days.
He's not supposed to. They were supposed to marry. You were supposed to put them away all your days. And that's if they be found. If they wasn't found, then guess what? You defiled a daughter of Israel. Jump up to verse 21. What was supposed to be the judgment for this fornication? Now, turn 28 and 29 is if they were found. But verse 21 is going to show what would happen to that sister had Eli's sons slept with them, broke their virginity, and then they would have played it off like nothing happened and then married somebody else. And then it would have been found that they wasn't no virgin. Read on.
Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 21. Then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones that she die.
Why?
Because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you.
So they committing fornication with the daughters in the gate. And if one of them would have just, not been found, or if they all would have not been found and then went on to try to prove a husband, get betrothed, go to the marriage chamber, and they found that they wasn't no virgin, they wasn't a maid, like it says in Deuteronomy 22, there were no tokens of virginity at all, they would have got killed. And it would have been Eli's son's fault. See how without lack of correction, how much stuff can literally go wrong? Go back to 1 Samuel chapter 2. Nope, matter of fact, jump on over to chapter 3 and verse 11.
1 Samuel chapter 3, verse 11. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, at which both the ears of everyone that heareth it shall tingle. In that day I will perform against Eli all things which I have spoken concerning his house. When I begin, I will also make an end.
So he said he's going to speak all of the judgments against Eli. Why? Because Eli did not correct his sons. He did not speak up and get on their behinds about their evil, because they were supposed to get put to death. They took the sacrifices, and if you didn't do what was according to the sacrifices, they wasn't accepted. Then they committing fornication with the daughters in the land, writing up all kind of folly in Israel. They wasn't supposed to live. Read on.
For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knoweth, because his sons made themselves vile, and he restrained them not.
And he what?
Restrained them not.
That's how you know Eli wasn't correcting his sons. He was being soft with them. He wasn't being that father figure that he was supposed to be, giving them the severe correction and instilling in them the fear of the Lord. They wasn't doing that. And because he didn't do that, there was judgments on his whole house. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever.
Damn. The Lord said, I ain't even going to forgive that. I ain't even going to wipe that away. Eli's house got to eat that until I say so. That's crazy. It ain't going to be purged by nothing. You would think that hearing that, the only thing that purged it was Christ's blood. Imagine that. From before David all the way until Christ came, that sin dealt with Eli's line. The whole time. And we really out here acting like God is not the same person that we reading about. That he just going to see your sin and allow you to just slide by, and there ain't going to be no repercussions for it. All of the murmuring that you do at home, all of the sins that you do, you really think that can't nobody see it? Okay. All right. That was one example of not talking enough. And what happened? The nation got humiliated. Because, you know, other people were around us at this time. Other nations were around us. They were our servants. And they seeing what was going on. So what you think they was doing? Mumbling, murmuring, saying what was going on, talking amongst each other, telling their people back in their homeland what was going on. Yeah, this is what they do. Go to Jeremiah 50, and I believe it's 6, just to show you what the nations really do to us. That's why those of y'all that see us teach on the street, well, it's verse 7. But you can start at 6. But you see how we teach on the street, we teach on social media. Everywhere we go and we tell people we God's chosen people, we the real Jews, the other ones, they the fake, the Gentiles not getting in. The Gentiles in the New Testament is talking about the scattered Israelites. And what they do, they come with that same thing. Well, if y'all the Israelites, then y'all killed Christ. And y'all didn't obey God. So he created a whole new covenant where everybody else. And now y'all are mad because everybody else is now grafted in. And so what you think that they know? They know where we fell short. They know our sins. They know what drives us to sin. Why you think they make everything for us to sin? And the primary one that they use is lust. Because if the women fall to lust, the land becomes full of wickedness. Just like Satan came to Eve and that land was full of wickedness, guess what? Satan gonna come to our women too. And as long as whoredom exists in our nation, the land is gonna be full of wickedness. As soon as we start to fight back against those lusts, that's when we get things in order. Jeremiah 50:6.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 6. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray.
That's just like Eli's sons. They caused them to go astray. Go ahead.
They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them.
Meaning all of the nations put us in slavery.
And their adversaries said, we offend not.
We didn't do nothing wrong.
Because they have sinned against the Lord.
They sinned against their God. We ain't doing nothing wrong. I mean, yeah, we put them in slavery, but they deserved it. Yeah, we killed their women. We killed their children. We set up systems to keep them at the bottom and us on top. But I mean, they sinned against their God. If they wouldn't have did that, then we wouldn't be doing what we doing. So we justified. Not only are we justified, but when we die, we going to get the kingdom of heaven too. We're going to have a kingdom on earth, and we're going to have a kingdom in the afterlife. And in the afterlife, we're going to convince God to put them in slavery again. That's what they think. They don't think that we're going to be equal in the kingdom of heaven. They don't even want us to be equal now. Look at all of the black towns that we created. Look at all of the black inventions that was created. And how many patents do our people own? How many Fortune 500 companies were started based on the inventions of what black people made? They have no idea. When they talk to us, they're talking to literal historians and scholars. We've already come to the realization that anything that we say, we talking over their head. Just saying Christ is black, we talking over your head. That's too high for you. No, he's not. He's Middle Eastern. Okay, that term came about in like 1901. What was he before that? Before Middle East was created, what was Christ before that? Oh, he was Arab. Okay, so you're saying he's the son of Ishmael? But in the Bible, he clearly comes from Israel. It said our Lord sprang out of Judah. So how could he spring out of Ishmael if he sprang out of Judah? Now you're boxed in, now you're cornered. You have nothing else to go off of. Only emotions and feelings. That's why when we talk to people, look, the Bible mean what we say it mean. You can either believe it or don't believe it. And I know most of the time you ain't going to believe it because it's coming from a Negro. It is what it is. But our communication will be heard. Our line will go out throughout the four corners of the earth. Go to 2 Samuel 13. Another example of not talking enough. 2 Samuel 13 and start at verse 19. So this is after Amnon, David's son, forced his sister Tamar. Go ahead.
2 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 19. And Tamar put ashes on her head and rent her garment of divers colors that was on her, and laid her hand on her head and went on crying. And Absalom, her brother, said unto her, hath Amnon thy brother been with thee? Behold now thy peace, but hold now thy peace, my sister. He is thy brother. Regard not this thing. So Tamar remained desolate in her brother Absalom's house.
Why? Because she was too shamed. She got forced by her own brother. So Absalom said, look, don't worry about it. I'm going to handle it. Read on.
But when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth.
He was what?
Very wroth.
Go ahead.
And Absalom spake unto his brother Amnon, neither good nor bad. For Absalom hated Amnon because he had forced his sister Tamar.
Now, here's David. Once again. So David did have a soft spot for his sons. He did. Just like most of us do. It is what it is. Can't say that we don't have soft spots for our children. Can't say that we don't have soft spots for brothers and sisters in the body. It is what it is. But that soft spot, if it causes you to sway the judgment of God, that's when sin is involved. Go back to Deuteronomy 22, and let's see what was supposed to happen to Amnon. Deuteronomy 22 and 25.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, and verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die.
He shall what?
Shall die.
So Amnon forced his sister, lied with her, meaning had sex with her, against her will. He was supposed to get put to death. Read.
But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
Rape is just like murder. It's just like murder. That's why she remained desolate in her father's house. Well, in her brother Absalom's house. Because you killed her spirit. You have no idea how the rest of her life was. But she was probably depressed, distraught, probably had a lot going on. She was broken from that. Read on.
Verse 27. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her.
She cried out, "No, my brother, do not this thing." She cried out, but he did it anyway. Go back to 2 Samuel 13.
2 Samuel chapter 13 and verse
21 again.
Verse 21. But when King David heard of all these things, he was very wroth.
He didn't judge Amnon. He was just upset and did nothing. And from there, Absalom took matters into his own hands. So when you don't communicate enough, people will start to take matters into their own hands. And I'm not talking about the people who have gotten counsel and they go against counsel and do things in their own hands. I'm talking about the people that reach out to you that you ignore. The people that reach out to you for help that you don't help. The people that reach out and now they're to a point to where, okay, they reached out in sincerity and they're trying to get things right, but you ignored them and now they went off, did something crazy. And now you sitting there looking, because you know that you got the missed call. You know that you got the text messages and you did nothing to help them. And like I said, I'm not talking about people who have gone against counsel, who have to now deal with their judgment. And they not patient in their judgment. So now they go do some more stupidness and add sin unto sin. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people that have in the body that they don't know what to do. A lot of our people, they don't have life experience. So they don't know what they're doing. They don't have no idea what to do on a day-to-day basis. They don't know what to do in their first year of marriage. Righteous marriage. You got a backdoor marriage, you on your own. It is what it is. You got a marriage that was performed the right way, you proved, and then you got married. It is what it is. Or you come in from the world and you're married and you're trying to transition from being an African American to being an Israelite in a marriage. All right, that's understandable. But when you have people that have access to good counsel, access to the scriptures, access to understanding, and they don't do nothing about it, and then they want to try to call you then after the fact about it. Nah, we ain't talking about that. We talking about people that got new spirits up in here. People that really need help and you don't help them. Why? Because you too busy caught up with the affairs of this world. You too busy caught up in what you got going on in your house. Just so you know, a leader, your life is not yours. Your life ain't yours. That's why they got a lot of people that I don't hear from. And I'll say, damn, brother, I don't hear from you. What's going on? Well, Cap, I know you be busy. Yeah, tell me what I do. Then they get quiet. Because I used to let that slide. Yeah, Cap, you know you be busy. All right, well, if I'm busy, whatever it is. But now I done got to a point to where, no, you tell me what I do on a day-to-day basis. You tell me what makes me not answer my phone. Because my phone is in my hand damn near all day. From me doing shorts, reels, social media posts, answering questions, checking our messages, checking emails, all of that stuff. My phone is damn near in my hand all day. Only time it's not is when I'm in the shower. That's it. Or I'm asleep. If you call me at 2:30 in the morning, I'm probably not going to hear it. I sleep very hard. But we're talking about, you heard about what was going on. David heard about what Amnon did to Tamar. And the judgment was supposed to be death. He didn't do that. So Absalom took matters in his own hands. And there was a whole civil war after this. The kingdom of David was split. Half the people followed David, the other half followed Absalom. Let's jump on over to verse 27. So Absalom was trying to set up Amnon. Like, look, man, they got sheep shearers over here, man. Let's go over there to the sheep shearers and, go ahead.
2 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 27. But Absalom pressed him that he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, Mark ye now when Amnon's heart is merry with wine. And when I say unto you, smite Amnon, then kill him. Fear not. Have not I commanded you? Be courageous and be valiant.
So Absalom was like, look, this dude's supposed to die. According to the law, he's supposed to die. And according to me, because that's my little sister and I love her, he forced her. Read on.
And the servants of Absalom did unto Amnon as Absalom had commanded. Then all the king's son arose, and every man gat him up upon his mule and fled.
Because they killed this dude, but it wasn't sanctioned by the king. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, while they were in the way, that tidings came to David, saying, Absalom hath slain all the king's sons, and there is not one of them left. Then the king arose and tare his garments, and lay on the earth, and all his servants stood by with their clothes rent. And Jonadab, the son of Shemiah, David's brother, answered and said, Let not my lord suppose that they have slain all the young men, the king's sons.
So this goes to talking too much. They didn't kill all of the king's sons. They just killed one of them. And everybody else ran. But this is how messages get passed with black people. You got to exaggerate things. They didn't kill everybody up in there. No, they didn't. That's why Jonadab was like, look, don't think that they killed all of your sons. Go ahead.
For Amnon only is dead. For by the appointment of Absalom, this hath been determined from the day that he forced his sister Tamar.
So he was like, look, Absalom been had it out for Amnon because of what he did to Tamar. Don't think that everybody else is dead. But that's that communication issue that a lot of black people have. When I say black, I'm talking about you Hispanics as well. And you so-called Native Americans. Because when we hear things, we want to exaggerate it. Everything got to be grandiose when we tell a story. It's called lying. What they just did to David, they lied to David. They didn't kill everybody. They just killed Amnon. That's it. But because we have such a big communication issue, we exaggerate everything. When reports come, they exaggerate everything. You know how many times I done got a report? Yeah, me and my husband, we was arguing and he snatched the baby out of my arms, elbowed me in my face and slammed me into the wall. Like, damn, get them both on the phone. And none of that happened. Sis, did you say that he elbowed you in your face? Yeah, I was just mad at the time. He didn't really elbow me in my face. I was trying to stop him from leaving. And when he walked past, his arm kind of brushed up against me. It's like a LeBron foul. Like when LeBron gets fouled, you could be 2 feet away from this dude. And he gonna get it too. The ref gonna be like, up, foul. Because of his antics. That's what we do in Israel. We do that in Israel. We LeBron foul in Israel. Don't nobody do you nothing. Look how far away he is. He got the ball in his hand. The dude looking down at the ground, he probably Don't even know what the hell just happened. But I bet you he got blamed for it. I bet you he got blamed for it. Whatever it was, LeBron went to the foul line after that. Whatever it was. And I'm using that as a carnal example because that's what happens on the spiritual level in Israel. I can't count how many times a woman has exaggerated her story to get her husband in trouble. Or a brother has exaggerated his story to try to get his wife put out. I can't count how many times that didn't happen, but it does. That's that you talking too much. There's a fine line between not talking enough and then talking too much. But let leadership tell you that you're talking too much. Talk. When you start to communicate, you're not going to know how to do it. So you're either going to not do it enough or you're going to do it too much. But do it. Get refined as you go, and then you'll know when to speak and when not to speak. Get Sirach 8:8.
The book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 8 and verse 8. Despise not the discourse of the wise, but acquaint thyself with their proverbs.
Don't despise the discourse of the wise. Always be around the leaders. Always be around. Go ahead.
For of them thou shalt learn instruction.
Of the leaders, you're going to learn instruction. How?
And are to serve great men with ease. Miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learned of their fathers.
Because our elders learn from their elders, who learn from their elders, who learn from their elders. One thing that we don't like to do as black people is listen to elders. That's the one thing we don't like to do, is listen to people that have been here before you. Because you're full of so much doggone pride and testosterone, yes, men and women, that you don't want to listen to nobody. Nobody can't tell you nothing. And then when you get smacked in the face by the judgment of your situation, now you want counsel. Now you want to send a message. Now you want to say, oh, well, you know what? This has been going on. Where was you at 6 months ago when the problem first started? You got to be around the leaders so that you can learn how to serve great men with ease, and you'll learn what they learned and how they learned it, how they was humble to their leaders. Go ahead.
And of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth.
And you're going to learn to give answer as need requireth. You're going to learn how to effectively communicate. You're going to learn when it's too much information. You're going to learn when it's not enough information. You're going to learn when it's the right amount of information. That's what you're going to learn, because you're always going to communicate. Now, let's talk about bad communication. Go to Psalms 106 and 33.
The book of Psalms, chapter 106 and verse 33. Because they provoked his spirit, so that he spake unadvisedly with his lips.
A lot of us speak unadvisedly. That goes to those of y'all that be trying to cover for people. We ask one person a question and you answer for them. Get the shovel. You're digging yourself a grave. Don't answer for nobody. Everybody answers for themselves. That goes including your wives and your children too. Your wife or your child gets brought before leadership, you better shut your mouth. Let them answer. Who answered for Susanna? Did her husband answer for her? Nope. Susanna had to answer for herself. That's what this is about. You got to answer for you. Go to 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 6. Let's see about this unadvisedly that we're talking about.
The book of 1 Kings chapter 12 and verse 6. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived.
That's the discourse of the wise. Go ahead.
And said, how do ye advise that I may answer this people? And they spake unto him, saying, if thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever.
He said, look, if you be a servant to the people, this is what Christ told us. The higher you are, the more humble you are. He that's chief is among you shall be your servant. We're servants to the people. Now, if the people don't want you to be their servant, that's on the people. Not everybody's going to feel the same. That's why when people say, oh, yeah, Cap, I know you be busy. That's why I don't call. You don't read the Bible. I'm your servant. I'm supposed to be here for you. All of the snacks that people put out and I get the plate first, I could care less. That come with the job. That come with the job. I really don't care about that. Know what I care about? Are you right in your spirit? What's going on with you? Do you understand what the scriptures is saying? Are you applying them? That's what I care about. Because that's what my leaders care about. I can go to all of my leaders with a gift. They'll say, all right, all praises. What you got going on in your house? What's going on in your spirit? What you battling with? That's the real gift. Bishop said a long time ago, the greatest gift you can give me is a sinless congregation. You get all kind of reports on a day-to-day basis. Read on.
Verse 8. But he forsook the counsel of the old men.
He despised the discourse of the wise. Go ahead.
Which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him.
You can't consult. An officer of 10 can't consult with an officer of 10 on matters in the body. A soldier can't consult with a soldier on matters in the body. If it involves the body, you consult with those that are above you. Not those that are your peer, not those that are under you. How it look like a 20 counseling with another 20 on how to make the congregation better. If he knew, he wouldn't be a 20. He'd be higher. That's why you go to the leaders above you, those senior officers. Now, you may have situations where brothers may be a brother or a soldier or a 10, but they got a lot of experience in a certain area. That's an elder in that area. You ain't never bought no house before. They bought 5 in their lifetime. Who you gonna counsel with? The dude that live in the apartment or the guy that has bought houses before and you trying to buy a house? You trying to buy a car? Who you gonna counsel with? The dude with a bus pass or the dude that done had cars since 1979? Who you gonna counsel with? Who you gonna try to build your credit with? The dude that ain't even got a credit card or the man that has more credit history than you have life on this earth? He would be an elder in those situations because he has more experience in those situations. So I ain't saying that rank alone is where the things stop. That's why I said in the body. If it deals with the workings of the body, spiritual matters, yes, you go to those men that are senior in the spirit. If it goes to carnal matters, all right, I may tell you, look, I ain't never bought no house before. So go to this person because they buy houses all the time. I ain't never bought no car before. Go to that person. They buy cars all the time. I don't know how to fix no alternator. Go to that person. He's a mechanic. That's what would be said. Sis, I don't know how to cook that. Go to her. She knows how to cook. These things help us to grow. Bad communication is when somebody tells you to go to that person, you say, nah, I'm going to go to this person over here. They tell me what I want to hear. What I want to hear is I really don't know, but go ahead and try it out to see what happens. I like that better. I like that better. So the young men told him to do what? Read on.
And he said unto them, what counsel give ye that we may answer this people? who have spoken to me, saying, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter. And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou speak unto this people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it lighter unto us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins.
This right here. He said, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. That's how you know a lot of Israel, we don't respect the elders. They disrespected Solomon. Solomon, more than likely, fed their parents and their parents' parents while he was in rulership. They probably was rolling in more money than they knew what to deal with. That's why they speak the way that they speak, because everything was all good. And now, what do you think happens with children that have it all good? They become ungrateful. They become disrespectful. You understand? They think that what is how it always been. They don't know nothing about the struggle. They don't know nothing about what it's like to be hungry and you can't do nothing about it. They don't know what that's like. They know, all right, if I'm hungry, I go into the refrigerator, and if I don't see pizza rolls, I'm going to be upset because I now have to make myself a sandwich, which means I got to go get the butter knife and I got to go get the honey mustard. And they only have plain chips. I really like my Doritos, but they only have plain chips. And I'm upset. I'm so distraught. We don't have anything to eat in this house because pizza rolls are not in the freezer. That's what little kids do. That's what we do. We got this building. We got this school. Everything is all right. Hey, we got a fundraiser. Y'all gonna do it? Nah. Hey, we running low on alms, y'all. We need to pick our alms up. I got other things to pay for. I'll give $20. Then when we can't pay the bill and we end up losing the school, well, what happened? What? I thought we had it all together. Well, why didn't we have this in order? Where did all the money go? It's the leadership fault. Really? Leadership that's just as broke as you. But we give everything that we can. If I have more, I give more. If I don't have more, I still give my baseline. You can only give what I can give. But if you don't see that, you know what's going to happen? You're going to act like a spoiled child. You're going to be that spoiled child that just thinks that things are supposed to be, they're just supposed to be. Hey, y'all, we need this. We need that. Whatever. I keep my money to myself. My finger is thicker than my father's loins. Then the disrespect comes. This is examples of bad communication because of who he tried to get his counsel from. Read on.
Verse 11. And now, whereas my father did lade you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke. My father hath chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions.
Now, why would he say that to the people? What did they do to even? Now, we know that this was of the Lord. The spirit of the devil was on them to say this. But why would they even mention that? Why would they even say that? My finger going to be thicker than my father's loins. He chastised you with whips, but I'm going to chastise you with scorpions. For what? You going to be idolater like him too? Go ahead.
So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the third day, as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the third day. And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him, and spake to them after the counsel of the young men, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. Mm-hmm. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Shilonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them.
So there was a division. Bad communication caused a division in the nation. Bad communication causes a division in the body. Why do you think that there are never a full amount of people here on new moons? Never a full amount of people here on high holy days, and on holidays. And most of the time people say, well, I didn't know that the school was going to be open. Those of us who do communicate, we say, oh, that's a bunch of BS because we put it out there all the time. School is going to be open. But because they're bad communicators, they don't check Telegram, they don't check text messages, and they don't call nobody. They off to themselves. And when we start doing stuff, they end up on the outside. And you know what their rebuttal is? They got clicks. They got clicks in there. They only tell their friends what they should know. They only tell their friends what they got going on. Go to Numbers chapter 13.
The book of Numbers. What verse, Cap?
13, start at verse 31.
The book of Numbers, chapter 13 and verse 31.
Matter of fact, 25.
Verse 25. And they returned from searching of the land after 40 days. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel and unto the wilderness of Paran and Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land.
So remember, these were 12 men that went to go spy out the land. And they came back with fruit. They came back with what the land had to offer. They were supposed to come back with a report. Go ahead. Oh, and this is for all of you brothers that don't want to go on flyer missions. They went to go spy out the land. Just like when flyer missions time come, we go and do recon on the areas. Just a little jab out there to the brothers that don't do flyer missions frequently. Go ahead.
Verse 27. And they told him and said, We came into the land whither thou sentest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey. And this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there.
So they said, nah, man, these people are too big. The cities are fortified. They got walls. They got all kind of stuff. We cannot beat these people. The Lord didn't tell you that. The Lord said, go over there, look at the land, and this is what I'm going to give you. Show the people the fruit of the land. I'm going to give you that land. He didn't say how he was going to do it. Well, actually, he did. But he didn't say to worry about the inhabitants of the land right there. He said, go do what I said to go do. But because of fear, they came back with a bad report. Go ahead.
The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it.
He said, look, don't worry about that. We well able to overcome these people. These people ain't nothing. You know who we got behind us? We got the power of God behind us. Go ahead.
But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature.
Now, this caused us to miss going into the promised land right then and there because we were scared and we talked too much. Instead of saying, all right, we could go into the land. This is the fruit. Don't worry about the inhabitants. Don't worry about the people that's there. Do what the Lord told you to do. But because of bad communication and their own fleshly mind, they said, no, the people is too big. We can't do it. Oh, you forgot about the Lord. You forgot that the Lord is the one that's going to give you the land in the first place. Why would he take you out of Egypt, kill the firstborn of Egypt? You got fire raining down from heaven. They cattle got killed. All their vegetation got ate up. Their kids got killed. They got killed. You saw this. You walked out of Egypt. You watched them get drowned in the Red Sea. And you don't think that that same God that did all of that is able to move away all of the people that are in the land that you supposed to take over? You got to have more faith than that. You got to have more faith than that. Read on.
And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers. And so we were in their sight.
How you know how you looked in their sight? Because when we got to the land, what Rahab said, yeah, we heard the fame of y'all. We heard what y'all Lord did to the inhabitants of Egypt and all of the other kings that was round about y'all. We heard what happened and they was all scared. So how was we grasshoppers in their sight, but yet they were scared when they heard about us when we came to the land in the first place? Think the giants was just gone at that time? 40 years later, no more giants? Nah, they were still there. It's just that you had men that had no fear in them and they were able to lead the people. Because ineffective leaders talk too much. And when you talk too much, a lot of times you ain't really saying nothing. In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. There's sin in the multitude of words. Good leaders are very direct and they speak, thus saith the Lord. Continue reading, chapter 14.
Chapter 14 and verse 1. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried.
So look what the evil report did to the body. The bad communication put a spirit of fear on the body. They started to cry. You ain't even seen these people and you crying already. Read on.
And the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron.
Now, because of a bad report, because they had poor communication, the brothers that went to go spy out the land was talking a little bit too much. Because of this, now the congregation murmuring against leadership. I'm going to let y'all know, most murmuring comes from somebody who talk too much. You think I didn't hear about sisters that are telling other sisters not to be part of the kitchen because the kitchen is messy? You don't think I heard that before? That has happened here? Yeah, I wouldn't join the kitchen. The kitchen got too much going on with it. They too messy. Yeah, what you mean by that? I don't want gossip. You already did. You already started. But that's how people start to move people around themselves. You don't think that we heard about on the brother side, brothers not wanting to get in men of valor because it's too hard? Yeah? What do you got to do that's so hard? I don't really know. So how you know it's too hard? Somebody said it was too hard. Oh, such and such said that you got to do this and you got to do that. Such and such never even did men of valor before. So how you know that what they saying is actually true? Oh, I don't want to travel over here. I don't want to go over there because you got to do this and that. How you know if you never did it? Oh, I heard you got to get this and I heard you got to get that. I heard. Know what that remind me of? That remind me of that Kim Wayans on The Living Color. Now I don't want gossip. You ain't hear from me. You know the one that's hanging out the window. Bonique Betrayal. She would gossip about everything, but you ain't hear from me. But tell everybody, and then wave at them and speak to them. Then right after that, start talking to the camera about them. That's what Israel do. Poor community, talking too much. Talking too much. Talking about other people's shortcomings as if you ain't got your own. Now, are you talking about it to them to help them get over their shortcomings? or are you talking about it to someone else about their shortcomings just to be talking? Because a lot of people build bonds based off of BS. A lot of people build bonds based off of sin. It happens a lot on the women's side. A lot of women build bonds based off of gossip. And then y'all build bonds based off of a mutual hatred to somebody that then corrected you. I don't like her. I don't like her either. Why you don't like her? She told me that my dress was too tight. Girl, she told me the same thing one day. I can't stand her. So she told you to apply 1 Timothy 2? And you mad? I mean, whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. Keep doing it, sisters. Those of y'all that are correcting them, keep correcting them. To hell with it. Go to Numbers 12. Now that I'm on that subject. Let's not forget, women get judged for talking too much too. Men get judged for talking too much, and so do women. God is an equal opportunity judger. We'll say what I won't say, but this is going to be recorded. Start at verse 1.
The book of Numbers, chapter 12 and verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, had the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses? Hath he not spoken also by us?
That's a Negro mindset right there. The Lord ain't just dealing with you. The Lord dealing with me too. I know I'm Israel. I got the same Bible as you. You are absolutely correct. But why are you not sitting up here teaching the people? Taking on all of their problems, giving them the solutions, getting gray hairs at a young age because you got to constantly give counsel out to people. Researching certain things to give people the help that they need. Why are you not up there doing it if you got the same level of knowledge? Why? You think that you come for a few hours on a Sabbath day and don't do crap throughout the rest of the week that you good? We got a whole lot of work to do. Especially us as individuals, we got a lot of work to do. You don't talk about the Bible at all throughout the week. You don't talk to nobody in the body at all throughout the week. So how's a book of remembrance going to be made about you and you don't even apply Malachi 3:16? You don't even do that kind of communication. You won't even visit the sick, but you want God to visit you. You won't give alms to give to the poor, but you want your pockets filled. You won't give God 12 hours of your time, but you want all of the time in the world for yourself. You praying to God that your boss give you the day off, not because you want to keep the Sabbath, but because you just want the day off. You want to go to the football game. So you praying to the Lord to give you off on a Sunday when you only came for an hour and a half for the Sabbath. How much sense that make? But Israel will be convinced in their mind that I'm going to the kingdom because I went to the Sabbath. It say 2/3 of our people going to get put to death. You know some of that 2/3 is sitting up in here? We pray that we're not, but how you going to not be that if you ain't doing nothing? You know that they'll mess around and kill me. They would. And then my family is left with not me. They left with themselves and the rest of the body. Now, who going to step up after and do the same thing? Or his brother's just going to be like, damn, man, they didn't kill Captain Met. You know, let's just, you know, let's think about this now. You know, you sisters, you know, just wear a dress. We don't have to wear fringes anymore because, you know, that attracts attention. We don't have to do that anymore. Brothers, I need you brothers to tuck in your shirts. You know, just, you know, you can have your fringes on. You don't have to show them. You know, God knows that, you know, you got your fringes on, you know. Matter of fact, You know, what I just found was in Romans chapter 2, it says, he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, but he's a Jew, which is one inwardly. So we going to become inward Jews because, you know, we don't want the same thing to happen to us. Matter of fact, he might have got killed because he was wicked. Yeah, that's it. He was wicked, and the Lord judged him. And what he was doing ended up in death, because, you know, the wages of sin is death. And, you know, we got to do the opposite of what he did. So mess around and BR will be another GOCC. Hiding. Who gonna do it? Y'all think if they take out any of the leadership, do you know what kind of hornet's nest they're gonna stir up? They might. We say it all the time. Y'all might want to keep them around. Y'all might want to keep the bishops and the deacons. You might want to keep them around. They're keeping our spirits in check. You got a whole group of us, about 50 of us, I'd say at the very least, that are ready and raring to go at next. We already got loosed on social media. We already got loosed. They said, look, just go. All right. And we going. Day in and day out, continually revealing the wicked, talking about prophecy, talking about current events, all of that. Why? Because that's what leaders do. That's what our leaders told us to do, and we going to fulfill it. We're not going to hold our breath day nor night. But those people that like, well, the Lord working with me too. Prove it. Prove the Lord working with you. Just because you alive don't mean that the Lord working with you. Hell, look at Donald Trump. He down to 80 years old. Satan working with him. There's a few people that can keep you alive on this earth. God or Satan or one of Satan's helpers. They can keep you alive. You're going to be a good example or a bad example. One of the two. But this is what happens. This is the mentality of our people when they say, well, did the Lord speak only to Moses? He spoke to us too. Read on.
And the Lord heard it. Now the man Moses was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth.
Meaning Moses did exactly what God told him to do. He didn't go to the right hand or to the left. He was very obedient. Go ahead.
And the Lord spake suddenly unto Moses, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam, come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And the Lord came down in the pillar of the cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle, and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream.
If there's somebody that I'm dealing with, y'all gonna know it because I'm gonna let it be known. And you're gonna see it in their works, you're gonna see it in their spirit that I'm working with them. Who I'm not gonna be working with is people that say, the Lord working with me too. No, he not. Because if he was, you wouldn't have said that stupid stuff just now. Read on.
My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house.
He said, I'll make myself known to a prophet in a dream. But Moses, I don't deal with him like that. I deal with Moses on a higher level. Go ahead.
With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of the Lord shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?
Meaning I'm going to give y'all parables and y'all going to have to go and figure it out. With Moses, I'm going to tell him plainly what I mean. He going to see it plain as day. You going to have to go figure it out. Meaning, yeah, the Lord did put his spirit in us. The Lord did speak by us. The Lord did do that. But he dealing with everybody on a different level. Moses was on a different level than everybody else. He was on a different level than Aaron. And he was damn sure on a different level than Miriam. Go ahead.
And the anger of the Lord was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
So she was made white. I like when people say it like that. White. Miriam was a black woman. But when the Lord left, he took her melanin with her. They said, now talk some more stuff. I'll take your melanin again. And that was light work. But that's what happens when you talk too much. Now imagine that. She physically turned white because the melanin was took from her. Imagine when you talk too much now and he just take his whole spirit. And now you done talked yourself back into the Christian church. And now you end up in the pastor office getting counsel. Come on, get on your knees, sister, and pray with me. We're going to talk to God. Don't act like we don't know these stories. We know what these pastors be doing. We know what they're doing because they're not driven by the laws of God. Anytime we bring up law or commandment or whatever the case may be, they always fight. Same thing with you brothers that's at home, trying to teach girls on your own, trying to teach them the scriptures. Yeah, she came to my house and we was going over the Bible. And then what? First, I'm going to get the book, and then what? Then you're going to be Tommy, GTD. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear. You're going to be GTD, Tommy. Go to Exodus chapter 16.
Verse 1?
Yep.
Exodus chapter 16 and verse 1. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. Mm-hmm. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness.
Once again, talking too much. Why?
And the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger.
Which means, even though they were in slavery in Egypt, in their mind, they wasn't slaves. I ain't no slave. I'm an Egyptian. I ain't no slave. I got a job. I ain't no slave. I got a house full of bread. I ain't no slave. I got a pot full of flesh. I got 6 cows. Talking about we slaves up in here. Boy, you don't know what you talking about. Ain't that what they do to us? I ain't no slave. You a slave. See, my brother, slavery is a social construct. Just like black. See, we not necessarily black. That's a social construct. They told you was black. Yeah, well, what are we? We Christians, my brother. What that dude Anton Daniel said? I'm a Christian first. Corey Holcomb said, are you a black man? I'm a Christian first, my brother. That's what Christianity do. It make you betray your whole race. You denounce who you are to join an all-inclusive religion that keeps you at the bottom. Damn, if that ain't a catch-22, I don't know what is. Read on.
Then said the Lord unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily.
So he said, I'm going to rain bread from heaven. I wish that would happen today. You go outside every day and there's enough food on your front lawn to feed your whole family. Come on now. What else you want to ask for? What else you got to ask for? That's better than food stamps. Food stamp what? I got food due. The due is my food. Go outside and you find food just laying on your lawn for you and your whole family, according to every man's eating. Damn sure wouldn't have no fat people. But that's what we had. Read on.
Verse 6. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, at even then ye shall know that the Lord hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning, then ye shall see the glory of the Lord, for that he heareth your murmuring against the Lord. And what are we that ye murmur against us?
Say, bro, y'all murmuring against us. The Lord is in control of all of this. He's been in control of all of this since we was in Egypt. Now he led us out of Egypt and y'all ain't doing nothing but complaining. Then, for the sake of time, he gave them the rules. Y'all gonna go out, y'all gonna gather a rate every day. And on Friday, y'all gonna gather twice as much for the Sabbath. Don't try to keep nothing over for any of the other days. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, don't try to keep anything overnight. What they do? They try to keep everything overnight. And it bred worms and it stank. But when they did it on Friday and they kept it overnight for the Sabbath, ain't nothing happened to it. If you listen to God and stop talking so damn much, your life will be better off. Get Numbers 11 and 1. Show you how we was complaining in Exodus 16. We was fresh out of Egypt. Numbers 11, we in the wilderness. We've been in there for a little minute. Let's see how he started to deal with complaining.
The book of Numbers, chapter 11 and verse 1. And when the people complained, it displeased the Lord, and the Lord heard it, and his anger was kindled, and the fire of the Lord burnt among them, and consumed them that were in the uttermost part of the camp.
He just started sending fire down from heaven. You know what? They talking too damn much. Let me just go ahead and get rid of them. Because after a while, grace starts to get thinner. We got a certain measure of grace given to everybody. I know a brother been committing fornication and adultery for 10 years. I know another brother committed adultery maybe twice and got killed the second time. Everybody got a different measure of grace. What somebody else do, the Lord, he forgive who he forgive. Some people got a whole lot of grace. Some people got very little. You don't know how much grace you got. So just because somebody else did something doesn't mean that you can now do it too. That's the same thing when people say, when we say in the Bible, under Christ, you can't have multiple wives. Well, Solomon did it. Okay. Solomon also married Edomites. So you're going to go to the other nations too? Well, David had multiple wives. You're right. He also committed murder and adultery. You going to do that too? You going to test your hand? You really going to try the Lord like that? I'm straight. I ain't doing that. But after a while, talking too much leads to death. Get Sirach 28 and 13.
The book of Sirach, chapter 28 and verse 13. Curse the whisperer and double tongue, for such have destroyed many that were at peace.
Moses was at peace. And Miriam and Aaron decided to whisper against him. Moses and Aaron was at peace, and the congregation decided to murmur against them. You destroy many that be at peace. Read on.
A backbiting tongue hath disquieted many, and driven them from nation to nation. Strong cities hath it pulled down, and overthrown the houses of great men.
Talking too much can destroy everything. But let's see about good talking. That communication is just right. Get Proverbs 18:21. That communication that's just right. You ain't talking too much, but you're talking just enough.
Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
And they that love death, you're going to eat the fruit thereof. They that love life, you're going to eat the fruit thereof. Both of which is going to come from your tongue. You can either speak life into somebody or you can speak death to them. Go to 1 Samuel 25. Let's see about this life being spoken.
First Samuel chapter 25 and verse 1. And Samuel died, And all the Israelites were gathered together.
No, verse 18.
Verse 18. Then Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs and laid them on asses.
Remember, this right here is when David came to Nabal, and Nabal was talking out the side of his neck. Nabal was talking too much. So what did his wife have to do? Give a whole bunch of gifts. Go ahead.
And she said unto her servants, Go on before me. Behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband Nabal. And it was so, as she rode on the ass, that she came down by the covert of the hill. And behold, David and his men came down against her, and she met them. Now David has said, Surely in vain have I kept all that this fellow hath in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that pertained unto him. And he hath requited me evil for good.
He said, man, I'm the reason why this dude lives out here. I'm the reason why this dude got as much as he has. And I come and look for help, and he gonna back talk me like that? Read on.
So and more also do God unto the enemies of David, if I leave of all that pertain to him by the morning light, any that pisseth against the wall.
Meaning every man got to go. Him and every one of his servants, sons, nieces, nephews, whoever. If they pee against a wall, they got to go. Go ahead.
And when Abigail saw David, she hasted and lighted off the ass and fell before David on her face and bowed herself to the ground and fell at his feet and said, Upon me, my Lord, upon me let this iniquity be. And let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thine audience and hear the words of thine handmaid. Let not my Lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial.
Meaning don't regard my husband because he the devil. Go ahead.
Even Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him.
Nabal means folly. That's what Nabal means. His name, he is what his name is. A man full of folly. Go ahead.
But I, thine handmaid, saw not the young men of my Lord, whom thou didst send. Now therefore, my Lord, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, seeing the Lord hath withholden thee from coming to shed blood and from avenging thyself with thine own hand, now let thine enemies and they that seek evil to my Lord be as Nabal. And now this blessing which thine handmaid hath brought unto my Lord, let it even be given unto the young men that follow my Lord. I pray thee, forgive the trespass of thine handmaid, for the Lord will certainly make my Lord a sure house, because my Lord fighteth the battles of the Lord, and the evil hath not been found in thee all thy days. Yet a man is risen to pursue thee, and to seek thy soul. But the soul of my Lord shall be bound in the bundle of life with the Lord thy God, and the souls of thine enemies, them shall he sling out as out of the middle of a sling. And it shall come to pass, when the Lord shall have done to my Lord according to all the good that he hath spoken concerning thee, and shall have appointed thee ruler over all Israel, that this shall be no grief unto thee, nor offense of heart unto my Lord, either that thou hast shed blood causeless, or that my Lord hath avenged himself. But when the Lord shall have dealt with my Lord, then remember thine handmaid.
Abigail do you know what that does? She just bigged this man up something fierce while she was on the ground begging. Like, look, I know everything is going to come to you. The Lord of heaven, he gonna smash all of your enemies. You going to have the victory. You going to be the king of Israel. Don't worry about this dude, Nabal, because the Lord is going to deal with him. Trust me, you ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm here. I know that they got men that's going to follow you. Man, look, that turned my heart. I was mad for David, and then reading what Abigail said, that made me calm down. Read.
And David said to Abigail, Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, which hath sent thee this day to meet me. And blessed be thy advice, and blessed be thou which hast kept me this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with mine own hand.
So there are times when women can talk, and y'all will be listened to. y'all will be listened to. Sometimes, as men, we need y'all to say biblical things to bring us back. My wife had to do it to me yesterday. Because Esau and his system, they keep hitting me over and over and over and over. And after a while, it gets frustrating. And I got hit with something right after I did a live. Who could guess what the live was about? Nope. It's about faith. I did a whole 2-hour live about faith. And then here comes something to test mine. Damn. She said, didn't you do a whole 2-hour live about faith? I just started laughing. I said, bruh, you know what? It is what it is. That's what you need. You need that biblical voice of reason, not that emotional voice of reason, not that come here and tell me your secrets. Let me be the pages of your diary. No. Speak with this. You speak with this, we listen. At least we should anyway. Those that don't, well, pray for them. But that was an example of good communication. Let's go to the book of Esther. Esther chapter 4 and verse 13.
The book of Esther, chapter 4 and verse 13. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews.
Because remember, it was up to Esther to get the king's ear to tell the king what was going on. Esther was like, man, I can't do that. If I go before the king and I wasn't summoned, he gonna kill me. Mordecai like, all right, you could play that role if you want to, but don't think you're gonna escape more than everybody else. If we die, you dying too. And that's something that we all have to understand. You think that things are gonna turn bad for you. That's what you think, but that's not what the Lord said. The Lord said, trust in me. The Lord said, wait on me. But us in our carnal mind, because it's right here, right now in our face, we like to look at things from a carnal, logical standpoint, not a spiritual standpoint where God is in the midst and he has his hand in everything. Go ahead.
For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time,
meaning you don't communicate, you don't talk enough. Go ahead.
Then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place.
We still gonna get delivered. Go ahead.
But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed.
But you and your father's house are going to be destroyed. That's if you don't do what the Lord is trying to put you in position to do. Jump to chapter 7. Start at verse 3.
Esther chapter 7, verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request. For we are sold, I and my people to be destroyed, to be slain and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. Mm-hmm. Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he and where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman. And Haman was afraid before the king and the queen.
So she was able to use her communication to talk just enough after being warned by her uncle that if you don't talk at all, there's going to be judgment to you. Now she said just the right thing to get the nation of Israel took out of the hand of Haman, the Agagite. Remember, Agag was the king that Saul was supposed to kill. Haman was a descendant of that same king, Amalek. And he wanted to destroy us back then. So just enough communication saved us. Go to 1 Samuel 19. It started verse 1.
1 Samuel chapter 19 and verse 1. And Saul spake to Jonathan his son, and to all his servants, that they should kill David. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul my father seeketh to kill thee. Now therefore I pray thee, take heed to thyself until the morning, and abide in a secret place, and hide thyself.
So Saul wanted to kill David for no reason. No reason at all he wanted to kill David. Because Jonathan was David's friend, he told him, like, look, man, my daddy planning on killing you, bruh. So I need you to hide. I need you to be away from all of this because it ain't going to look good. Go ahead.
And I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where thou art. And I will commune with my father of thee, and what I see, that I will tell thee. And Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, let not the king sin against his servant, against David, because he hath not sinned against thee, and because his works have been to thee very good.
He said, look, don't do this to David. David didn't do nothing to you. He's done nothing but good towards you. Go ahead.
For he did put his life in his hand, and slew the Philistine. And the Lord wrought a great salvation for all Israel. Thou sawest it, and did rejoice. Wherefore then wilt thou sin against innocent blood, to slay David without a cause? And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul sware, as the Lord liveth, he shall not be slain.
But as you know, Saul kept on trying and kept on trying and kept on trying to kill David, until eventually he went and saw the woman with familiar spirits, and Samuel told him, you about to join me this day. Boy, that's got to be a scary sight. We need to do a horror movie on that. Do a horror movie on that. You know, they got those horror movies with people trying to play with them Ouija boards. Just make somebody appear and say, all right, you going to be with me today. Whew, Lord. I can't see that. Go to Proverbs 13, verse 3.
Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 3. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that openeth wide his lips shall have destruction.
So if you keep your lips, you keep your life, meaning you communicate just enough. You got bars on your lips. You're not talking too much, and you're talking just enough. You're not keeping all the way silent. Communication is key in this truth. It'll save lives. It'll save heartache. It'll save you a bunch of tribulation. It'll save a whole bunch of foolishness from happening to us as a whole. All right. So that there is going to end my class. All praise to the Most High. You talk too much or not enough.
Across the earth, the prophets move. From city streets to distant lands, the message is the same. Israel must rise. Through every quest, every journey, the truth spreads. No border can contain it. No distance can silence it. Our nation lives in every moment. In joy, we celebrate marriages. In sorrow, we honor our dead. On the Sabbath, we gather as one. Families rejoicing together, bound by the commandments of God. Yet are we tried. From the stones in Kenya to the hatred in Montana, we endure as a soldier of the Lord. And still, the mission expands. On the airwaves, on the screens, in every nation under heaven, Israel's voice is heard. We build our communities. We raise our children in royalty. We restore what was broken. We clean what was defiled. We show the world who we are. This is Israel united in Christ. Nation in motion. Nation endures.